With Darren Fletcher at the wheel, will Man United successfully swerve the pothole that was the Burnley match midweek and maybe get things back on track? With players back from injury, could we see some rotation maybe? Or will we go strong to start things off on Sunday? Maybe with could Mizraoui or Brian and Brumo return from AFCON in time? Could we even see a surprise youngster included in the squad for this FA Cup fixture? We have a lot of questions, right? Always more questions than answers, but we're here to explore these questions today as we preview our first step on the road to the FA Cup this weekend against Brighton. We've already beaten Brighton once this season, 4-2 in the league, but this is a cup tie, so anything can happen, right? All bets are off. You never know. We're talking tactics, we're talking team news, we're talking starting 11s, we're talking score predictions as we preview this one. So make sure you guys are getting involved in the chat as we go along. Welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time, glad to have you here. This is United vs. Everybody. I am your host, Sean, and we're going to get stuck in tonight. So make sure you like and make sure you subscribe and make sure you check those memberships as well. There are some unique items from the United vs. Everybody store just below your video player. That is a good way to support the channel if that's what you want to do. It's one-of-a-kind gear, looks excellent, fits nicely, as you guys have heard Dylan say, and doesn't go towards the Glazers or Ineos. As you can see, I am pretty much full on in Ineos out mode these days. Big up, Danny B in the house. Welcome. Yes, please get involved. If this is your first time, let us know where you're watching from too. I always like to see where people are getting involved. But Danny, I am fully Ineos out, and for very different reasons than the Glazers. Obviously, I think that the Glazers obviously are just criminal. I think it's criminal the way they run the club. Ineos, I do think they do have intention. They do want, obviously, the Carrington rebuild, the new stadium, the money. I get that. I think Sir Jim wants to. The reason I'm Ineos out is that they're just 100% incompetent. They just don't know what they're doing. This whole Amorim fiasco has really just put me over the edge. Now, I agree with that he had to go probably, but it just, again, I said a long time ago after Ten Hag, if they had to do the same thing with Amorim, it was going to start to put the spotlight on them, and I really think that that's where we're at. And so they're incompetent. The Glazers are criminals. They both need to go, man. It just needs to be what it needs to be, dude. Big up, Kai. Good to see you, Kai. Hope you're doing well, man. Dana says 100%. They're a lot. They're just incompetent. They don't know what they're doing. But it is what it is. Let's dive into some news to start things off, you guys. Again, make sure you like and subscribe. Big up Benjamin Shesko. He is the Premier League Player of the Week. I don't know if you guys saw that just went official right before I went live. I did post a little tweet about it to share it, and I kindly told Tim Sherwood to do one. Kindly told him it was kind, but yeah, Tim Sherwood can do one. But yes, Benjamin Shesko is the Premier League Player of the Week for this past match week with his brace against Burnley. He was man of the match for that one. Very good performance for him. We'll see if he could turn the corner. But yeah, big up Benjamin Shesko. It's good to see him get that. Hopefully it just kicks on from here. Dudes his confidence are well good. And again, say what you want about players in the side, but no matter if you like him or not, rate him or not, how long they've been here, whatever, the best thing for us is if they're all fit and firing. And so that's, again, it helps us support the players. Criticize when necessary. Yes, you can still say, when like in Ugarte's case, don't want him. He needs to be sold. But at the end of the day, when he has a good performance, call it out. Want him to play well when he plays. Like, that's all I ask from anybody. So do what you want to do. Just saying, you'll probably be a lot less frustrated if that's the mindset you go along with it. But don't take my word for it. I'm just a therapist. So let's kick on with some news here. So in the wake of United's latest manager turnover, fans are not happy. And we got a little update on that unhappiness from Mike Keegan this week. This is what he had to say, that apparently the 1958, the protest group, you guys know, we know them very well. They have announced plans for a demonstration at the Fulham game early next month. I think that's, 3 or 4 games, February 1st. The group will demand the removal of the ownership model. So they are protesting not only the Glazers, they are protesting Sir Jim, Ineos, all of it. I've seen Glinios, you guys have used a couple times. I've seen Audios a couple times, like the opposite of Ineos, so that protest is being planned. Journalist Marco Alcaraz added this as well. This is from a spokesperson from the 1958. Forgot I put this in there. So the 1958 had this to say: after lurching from one disaster to another, Ratcliffe comes across as an incompetent clown, turning the club into a circus. Instead of best in class, we're a laughing stock, or best in ass, as Danny likes to say. For Ratcliffe and the Glazers, the game is over. Time is up. We can take no more, and urge as many fans as possible to join us in a massive protest. So this is coming from the 1958. They are not happy. I know a lot of us are not happy as well. And then this is what Marco Alcaraz had to say. I found this photo. I had to include it. Sorry, Sir Jim. But according to Marco Alcaraz, Sir Jim is reportedly unhappy with the scrutiny he's facing after the 1958 announced a planned protest against him and the United hierarchy, branding him an incompetent clown. He's also said to be clearly frustrated with Wilcox and Barada. So maybe a little bit of a tension going on behind the scenes. So if you're just joining us, a little bit of a recap here. 1958, planning a protest for the Fulham match, calling for Ineos to just be done. Sir Jim, they've labeled as an incompetent clown. It's been reported that he's not happy about this, Sir Jim, that he's actually frustrated with Wilcox and Barada. Whew, got all that out. Where do you guys stand on protests in general, on things like that? I know not everybody thinks that they're effective. Are they effective? You guys let me know what you think about them. If you don't think protests are effective, what would be? What do you think gets the message across? We saw the protest when the Super League was announced, was that 4 or 5 years ago? That got a match called off. They got the biggest match in English football called off, so in that case, it did work. It was news. Would it be the same for something like this? Because we've seen these protests happen before. They don't really get a lot of coverage. Sure, people will share like footage from it, clips in here, TikTok and whatnot from outside the stadium. You've got, maybe several dozen people hanging out there. It needs to be massive if it's going to be a protest. And honestly, you're not going to see any of it on TV. Maybe if you get BBC or Sky. I don't see it here, because here, if I throw on Peacock, I throw on NBC, I don't see anything ahead of the match until literally right before the whistle blows, and then we get the match. So we're not going to see it here. Maybe it's different where you live. Walkouts during a match do send a message, right? That's something that the club can't hide. It's on TV. It is what it is. You can't not go, right? Because especially season ticket holders. So it will be up to season ticket holders if they want to sacrifice their season ticket. But if you lose a season ticket because you don't go to so many matches, they're going to turn around and take it from you. And so you can send that message to a certain point. Otherwise, you're losing your season ticket at that point. And so somebody else will take it. I guarantee you there's somebody waiting in line to snatch up your season ticket spot. If that's so, a walkout, you keep your ticket and the seats are emptied, and they can't hide it on the match, right? That's just maybe boo as you're walking out. I don't know. Danny says, I think they're effective. Well, why? I'm not challenging. I want to know why. You guys know I always want to know more. I don't like to just ask yes or no questions. I want to know why you think the way you like. What about them is effective? What have you seen to show you to show you that that's the case, that they are? What evidence is there to show? I'm not saying you're wrong. I honest to God want to know why you think the way you think. So get involved. Corey, big up. Hope you're doing well. Says Ollie Gunnar Solskjaer set to hold face to face. Yep, you are beating me to the punch with all the news. We're still talking about the protest. I've got some manager news here as well. But big up, Corey. Welcome. But yeah, protests, and I agree with protest. You should have the right to protest anything. It's fine as long as it doesn't get violent or destructive. I don't care. Like it's your right. I mean, it is, at least in the States, we have a right to peaceably protest, right? To peaceably assemble is the thing. When it gets out of hand, then it's a problem. I do think that some of these protests get painted as a little more out of hand than they actually are. But so I think walkouts do, in my opinion, maybe do a better job, because you can't hide the walkout. It will get shown on news, and everybody will be watching the match anyway. Protests, they probably have an effect, but you just don't see it as frequently. Big up to Basti. Good to see you again. He's got the eyes. What are the eyes going on? Is it the eyes at the Sir Jim photo? Because I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, get involved in the chat. Let me know what you think about this planned protest from the 1958. Could it be enough to make something happen? They haven't been enough for 20 years to get the Glazers out. The most I've seen it do is, obviously, you've got the FC United of Manchester have broken off. We've got a match called off several years ago. I haven't seen much more, but again, I welcome any and all perspectives and opinions. I just want to hear them from you. So get involved in the chat and let me know what you think about the protest. I'm going to move on to some other news. Because obviously we've got a little bit of a managerial situation going on. The queue for the vacant head coach job at United has a lot of names in it, depending on where you're reading. Fabrizio Romano, he was recently speaking with the Men in Blazers, if you guys ever watched that. He name-dropped 2 more potential candidates for the Manchester United head coach role. And according to him, these are names that we've spoken to in the past that at the time maybe just wasn't the right fit. This is what he had to say about 2 names in particular. 2 names were already on the short list of Ineos and people in the management when summer 2024. So basically, way back when we, sacked Ten Hag around that whole iffy summer, there were already 2 names we were looking at. And so those 2 names are Thomas Tuchel and Roberto De Zerbi. So he has said that those are names that were already on our list. Now he says they don't know if they're still on the list, but those are names that we're looking at. Bexy, big up, says we need wins, dude. I want this FA Cup bad. Like, so many people for some reason don't rate the FA Cup. Now you can rate it not as highly as the Premier League, right? It is what it is, but I love the FA Cup. I love domestic cup competition. I absolutely love it. I want the FA Cup. I want us to lift it. I'm always happy to go deep in the competition. When we went out to Fulham last season, I was not happy, but obviously the way we beat City was excellent. I think the best thing about lifting it 2 years ago was, again, not only did we beat City, we also beat Liverpool in the quarterfinals at Old Trafford in the most exciting match I've seen in a while. That was excellent. But let me know how you feel about the FA Cup. Do you rate it? Are you up for it? I want to know. Do you want to win it? Do you not care? Is everybody checked out? I feel like there's a lot of United fans who, at least online, are claiming to be checked out at this point. Tabasi wants the FA Cup. I want the FA Cup. Pro Amorims want United to lose. Glazers want cup money. Yeah, well, if they want the cup money, then they need to pull out the checkbook and get a player, because if you get some decent players this month, you could go deeper in these cup competitions. You could qualify for Champions League, and that will get you even more money. Spend 10, 15, 20 million now. That's a lot. That's several days of match day revenue in these cup runs. That's, again, qualifying for Europe is a big deal. But so Thomas Tuchel, Roberto De Zerbi are names we reportedly spoken to in the past. Fabrizio Romano claims that they are still on the list. But regarding the profile you were looking at, he had more to say. But on Tuchel and De Zerbi, we spoke to them almost, a year and a half ago. He says that at that time, they weren't quite feeling the project. It was still in its infancy. I can understand that. We'd just gotten in some guys like Barada, Ashworth, and we weren't quite even sure when those guys are going to be able to start working, right? They're on gardening leave. But Romano says now it could be different. It's too early to say if it's going to be them, if it's going to be another candidate. Man United will take their time to decide who's going to be the manager, but for sure they will go for an important name in terms of rebuilding this project once again. So I make that bigger for you guys. How do you feel about Tuchel and De Zerbi? Would they be up there on your list? I did put a poll out earlier today, kind of narrowing down. I put a couple polls out, and I put a post out as well. So again, always check the post section of the channel. There's loads of stuff in there that you guys might miss out on. I did put a post asking for some questions. I'll come back to that later on today. I did put a poll out regarding who we've missed most during AFCON. Go check that out. But I also put a poll out on the manager profile that you think we should be looking at. I've kind of organized it in different categories. I've organized it from the experience category, like the Tuchels, the Emerys, the Luis Enriques. I've organized it from the guys who maybe are ready for that step up, like maybe Glasner or who else did I put in there? Someone help me remind. I'm going to check it real quick. Glasner, Eddie Howe, Inzaghi was on that first category too. The younger guys like the Xavis or the Iraolas. And then I've got another one for the guys who are at the World Cup, who a lot of people seem to like your Pochettinos, your Tuchels, your Nagelsmann kind of guys who would not be available until after the World Cup, which I don't like. But go vote in that if you haven't yet. Most of you guys have voted that we're missing Mbumo more than we're missing Ahmad. Nobody voted for Mizraoui, so that's a little telling. But what we see here, Bexy says, Mbumo back yet? Not yet. I do think they kick off in, what is that, like an hour or so? So we could get Mbumo or Mizraoui back. I don't know. It doesn't sound like maybe they'll be back in time, but Tobias says Tuchel is all right, but nah, no good record. I mean, he won Champions League with Chelsea. He does play a formation that I think a lot of United fans are kind of done with. But again, formation and system, not quite the same thing. I do think a lot of people don't quite see that, though. Tobias not a fan of De Zerbi. I don't think De Zerbi's bad. He would definitely not be in my top 5 personally. But and again, doesn't mean he's bad. I'm not convinced yet. I need to see more of him. He had a decent start to life at Brighton, then he got found out, and then he went off to France. He was with Marseille. He's doing decent right now. I think they're like 5th right now. I think they just lost the final to PSG. I want to say they did, but I can't remember. I think it went to Pens though. So we'll see. I need to see more from De Zerbi. He's still young though. Big up, Jules. Hope you're doing well, man. Hope everybody's doing well today. I'm going to put this back on the small screen so I can see everybody a little better. Bexy says, I do think Ineos do come under a bit too much stick. United after 2 decades of Glazers. Yeah, and I've said that too. As you can see, I'm fully Ineos out though, and it's not because I think they're criminals like the Glazers. I just think they're incompetent. Yes, the job is too big, but it's not that like what the decisions they're making with Ten Hag and Ashworth and now Amorim have nothing to do with the debt and the stadium, and it's just their judgment, their whole decision making process, their whole structure, that there's this whole best in class team. It doesn't seem like they're very good at what they're doing, and I don't want that. I can't have people who don't have good decision making skills, who don't show good judgment, continuing to make big decisions at the club, because we'll never get out of this hole. They made 3 big bad decisions since they've got here. They've only been here a little over 2 years. Like, I'm not convinced. So we need somebody who's actually competent at this. Jules says, give me Maz back. We're struggling defensively. Yeah, I'd take him over Dallo. The question, though, is in that poll is who are we missing more? Ahmad, Mbumo, or Mazraoui? Most of you guys have picked Mbumo. Some of you picked Ahmad. Nobody voted for Mazraoui yet, unfortunately. So Tobias says, if Luis Enrique is available, all these options look tiny. Yeah, we'll go check out the poll again. And see what you guys think. You want someone with experience like the Enriques, like the Inzagis? Do you want someone who's ready for a step up, maybe like a Glasner or Eddie Howe? Do you want a younger person like an Iraola? Or do you want someone who maybe is at the World Cup that you have to wait until after the World Cup? So we'll see. Tigre Claus, welcome back. I can't believe Ancelotti isn't in the conversation. Well, he would probably be in that whole World Cup category. I just don't know personally if Ancelotti, he didn't do great with Everton. I don't think it's managing Real Madrid, and I've said this many times, and Ancelotti is one of the best managers in the game. That's just hands down with what he's won at all these different clubs, all these different leagues, all these Champions Leagues and whatnot. Like, what he's done is he's up there in the conversation for one of the best. It's Sir Alex, and then you have the conversation about who is after Sir Alex, but we all know that. My thing is with Ancelotti is that this is not Real Madrid. You don't come here and you don't get the best players. You can't simply show up and, say like, well, Bellingham's going to do this for me. Vinny Jr. is going to do this for me. Modric is going to do this for me. We don't have players like that, unfortunately. He actually will have to do more. I think at Madrid, the most important thing for any manager at Real Madrid is you have to demand that respect. You have to be the biggest personality in that dressing room. I don't mean like Jose Mourinho big. I mean, when you speak, people have to listen. And he'll get that at United, but we just don't have the players. He would need so many more players to do things. And so it'd be a struggle, in my opinion. Now, we need players regardless, but I think it also has to be said that there is something to be said for being able to get a lot from nothing. The boss says, I hope LVG. I doubt LVG's going to come back. I doubt he will. Bexy says, but who's better? Who do you mean? Managers, players? Let me know. I need specifics. So this is what Romano had to say about the profile of manager that we're looking at as well. I'll put this back up on the big screen so you guys can see it a little easier. It's a lot. I'll read it out. The decision is going to be on several factors. They want to play beautiful football. That's obviously a crucial part of the story. But remember this point. Premier League experience. Man United also want a manager who can have some kind of Premier League experience in order to make an instant impact. They know that they don't have so much time because the fans have been waiting for a long time to see United successful again. So now he's thrown this whole spanner in the works here, Romano. Again, this is coming from Romano. This isn't gospel, but it is Romano. But he claims that United, like some of the players we've signed recently, they're looking for Premier League experience with the manager. They want someone who knows what it takes to get over the line in the Premier League, who already understands the way you have to. I mean, we've seen managers adjust their tactics. Pep adjusted the way he plays early on as well. So that maybe that whittles down the options. Maybe that isn't. I mean, do you still count Ancelotti as Premier League experience? It's been a minute. Maybe that weeds out guys like Inzaghi, for instance. Maybe that weeds out guys like Xavi, who we've already spoken to allegedly, but we'll see. Duncan Castles mentioned Pochettino and Ancelotti to answer your question earlier. Roy Keane thinks it needs to be Eddie Howe. Roy Keane's put his horse firmly behind Eddie Howe. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I think that, again, we have to get it right. We can't afford to compromise. If you let's say hypothetically we want Unai Emery. That's the guy we want. Premier League experience, a lot of Europa leagues, doing bits with Aston Villa with like minimal financial backing and losing players. Let's say that's who we want. Go and get him. People can say you'll never get him out of Aston Villa. Aston Villa is not Manchester United. Go and get your first choice. You have to, because that, I think, will have a big impact on things. Debasi says Eddie Howe is the media sweetheart. Yeah, I think a lot of people are thinking that he's ready for a step up. I do like what he does in dressing rooms. He does a really good job in the dressing room. I don't think our dressing room is fractious right now. I do think that was something Amorim did well. So there's that. Eddie Howe does play the kind of football I think a lot of people like, but again, it's just is he good enough? That's the question. That's the question. Jules says, agreed, Ancelotti would win with the best players, which we won't give him. It begs the question, is there anybody who could do this job? Again, it just depends on if A, what the goal is. It's going to be a process, and B, are fans willing to give time behind a manager? I don't know how early on it's too early to tell if a manager is it or not, but I think Amorim's issue was he just kind of started to clash with the board. And so I don't understand then why people are like, we can't have a yes man. Well, every single guy who's not been a yes man has come and gone because he was not a yes man. That's why we don't get someone like Antonio Conte. That's why I'm not entirely convinced on Thomas Tuchel. He's famously fallen out with boards at Dortmund and Bayern and PSG and Chelsea. Like, he'll get that same sort of relationship at United. And so to a degree, you have to kind of if you want to call it yes man, you can call it that. But to any job anywhere, if you openly defy your boss, or if you publicly defy your boss, like, you're gonna get fired. It's just the way it is. So yes, you can say, yeah, I got my pride, but at the end of the day, you got people in the fan base calling for someone to not be a yes man is only gonna probably mean we'll be in this situation again in a couple of years, unfortunately. I don't agree with it. I'm just calling out for reality. I think a lot of people hear me say stuff like that and they think that that's what I want. I'm just way past the point where I'm going to have a long conversation about how I want things to be. I'm going to look at them with how they are, take it for the reality, and just try to find the best solution there. Like, that's just the way it is. I can sit here and yell and scream all day like a lot of other content creators about how I'm mad about this, how we need to do this. Like, I just choose not to. I'm moving past that temper tantrum and I'm going on to, like, let's find solutions for shit. That's just me. Like I said, if you guys want that stuff, this is not the channel for you. I hope we can have just a rational discussion at certain points. I'm not accusing you guys of doing it. I'm just saying, like, I try to be a little different in that regard. The bot says we have insufferable fans. I think most fan bases can get insufferable no matter the club. I mean, Real Madrid fans are disgusting, man. If I was Gareth Bale and fans were jumping on my car, I would have been gone like that night. I would have driven right to the airport. Like, some people are weird, dude. Jules says explosive managers won't last a minute. Clearly not. I thought Amorim was cooler than the other side of the cucumber when it came to composure, or the other side of the pillow, but he just didn't care anymore. He just was getting frustrated, man. Bexy says, better than Ineos. They've made mistakes, but Arsenal took years to get where they are. Liverpool the same. I think Ineos need 5 years. I mean, it's like players and managers. You're just not going to get enough time, and so you have to, like any player who gets minutes or any manager, like, you've got to do well with the choices you're given, the opportunities you have. You have to get more decisions right than wrong, and I haven't seen that from Ineos. Carrington, awesome. What they did at Carrington, great. Coming in, spending money, cool, well done. Sacking all the people, all the ticket increases, the removing concessions for fans and whatnot, all that shit, the managerial decisions, the money we spent on Ashworth and Ten Hag, and now Amorim, like it's hurting us. And if we don't sign somebody because we don't have the money because of all that, I'm going to be super annoyed, dude. Oh, man. Shannon, big up. So Manchester United is the best. I agree. Thank you. Welcome to the channel. Consider subscribing if you like what you see and you think United is the best. I think we're the best too. I don't think that a lot of what's going on right now is the best, but I appreciate that. Welcome. So let's see. Jules says there's no such thing as a 5-year plan in football. It's about winning. And now, yeah, and I just went on a little bit of a rant the other day with how like finance plays into it, because I stole something from Kieran Maguire on LinkedIn. He put down like a whole graph about how much we spent since Sir Alex retired on sacking and hiring managers. It's pretty bad. Not all Ineos, but still they're a big part of it. But I went on a whole rant about it. Like, football actually rewards these, financially anyway. Again, it's not how I feel. This is just the reality of the situation. From a financial standpoint, football actually rewards making these quick knee-jerk decisions to correct mistakes more than it does to wait a bit. It's just the way it works. So this is the way clubs are looking at it, and so it actually encourages it in weird ways, unfortunately. So it is unfortunate that this is where we are, but it is where we are, unfortunately. But yeah, get your thoughts in on who you might like to see. Again, if you go to the channel's homepage, and there is a link in the description of this video to go back to the stream that Dylan and I did a few months back September, when things were pretty dicey. We went through 8 managers that we thought at the time could be replacements for Amorim. Go back and watch that one if you haven't yet done so. There is a link as well in the community tab for that poll. If you guys want to go vote on what your option is, you can go do that. I still think Glasner is leading the race, so if you want to have your say, go vote in that as well. But yeah, get involved in the chat too. Let me know who your pick would be. Would you want someone with the experience of an Enrique, an Inzaghi, or an Emery? Someone who's maybe ready for a step up? Is United too big for that? Someone like your Glasners, your Eddie Howe, the young guns like Xavi or Iraola? Or would you want someone who's maybe tied up with a national team right now and maybe you want to wait till the summer? Who knows? You guys let me know who your pick would be. Robert Reed, welcome back. It's been a minute. Is this game on ESPN Plus? Yes, it is on ESPN here in the States, so I will get it. Xbox removed the NBC app and the USA app, so I can't just simply stream that stuff unless I want to hook up my laptop to my TV like this is like a college student in 2012 or something. Like, what is this? First world problems, seriously. But yeah, as far as the interim goes, so get your thoughts in on the Prem. As far as interim goes, we're still waiting to hear the announcement for that. Will Fletcher be given the reins to the end of the season? Maybe if he gets a big win tomorrow, who knows? Carrick's been discussed. Reportedly, Carrick's already met with the club. I'm going to get rid of this for a hot second. And obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been a big name mentioned. If you guys have been paying attention to anything in the news recently, I saw a Norwegian journalist just before going live. His name is Ivan Hoff. He claims that United are going to have a meeting with Ole tomorrow, and I think one of you guys posted it in the chat to start. So maybe we could get an answer by the weekend. We need an answer soon. Like, we can't afford to keep like this whole well, let's see if Fletcher will no. That is a big issue of what got us into a lot of the financial mess that we've been in. Is, oh, well, they did well. It's like, no. I love Ole. What he did when he was an interim the first time was unparalleled. It was amazing. He'd still be my top choice right now of all the interim options, because I do think he's got the most experience. And again, what he did when he was here before was excellent. If he could do that again, awesome. Well done. Thank you for steadying the ship. Thank you for picking up some wins. We'll take it from here. Not permanent, interim, yes. What would your option be? I've seen Rude thrown out there as well. I want to know who you guys would take. Let me know in the chat who would be your interim option. Robert Reese says, Ole at the wheel. Ole ball is fun. Ole is entertaining football. It is the United way football. I will give him that. But he can't have the permanent job again. We made the mistake, I think, last time doing that. Now, he did get us second. He did get us third. He did get us to a Europa League final. Went on that amazing unbeaten run. No one can forget about that. But it just sort of all fell apart. And some of that didn't have anything to do with Ollie. Some of that was just, again, the lack of any sort of semblance of a transfer structure strategy. But it is what it is. I know people say, well, you can't go back to your ex. And I'm like, you can't, that's relationships. This is football. I get what you're saying, but like I said yesterday, Real Madrid brought back Zidane and Ancelotti. Chelsea brought back Jose Mourinho as well. I'm not saying that we're Real Madrid or we're Chelsea. I'm just saying it can happen and it has happened, and there's nothing, and it's interim. Let's distinguish interim from permanent and call that what it is. I think that'll help people be a lot less frustrated about the situation personally. Jules says those clubs are run well, but they aren't progressing anymore. Which clubs? Let me know. Bexley says Brighton are never going to be a big club. They kind of know it. They're trying to maximize. Yeah, Brighton's whole model is kind of like Dortmund or like Ajax. I mean, Brighton rely heavily on recruitment to help them financially to be sustainable, and they do a good job. I mean, how many players have Brighton flipped for loads of money? But when you do that, you really have to get the recruitment spot on, the scouting, the data analysis, all that has to be spot on. So when it starts to flounder a bit, then you start to struggle, because it's fine if you want to be sustainable, finish mid-table here and there, but then when you're not getting the players and you're struggling on the pitch and you start to drop down to below bottom half of the table, then it starts to be a bit of a worry. But they are a little bit of a selling club. So Jules says the leak to the press about United not seeing Carrick and Ollie working together is clearly penny pinching. It's saying, well, we'll see what happens. I mean, they're both. I think Carrick is a little bit. He's probably looking for a bigger job. He did manage Middlesbrough. They were doing decent, and then, but it was like he couldn't. When they started to decline, he couldn't manage a way out of it. He couldn't find a way to turn it around. Unfortunately, you guys know I watch a lot of Middlesbrough. I'm on permanent Hayden Hackney watch. So that was an issue. And again, he's a very young manager. This is like his first job. So I think I've seen him linked to like West Ham, West Brom. There's another club as too. I can't remember what it was. So maybe I think he's holding out for something like that. If he doesn't get one of those jobs, if Ollie gets this interim job, Carrick could do a lot worse than maybe just joining for the assistant role for a hot second, getting some more experience on the touchline. I don't think experience is a bad thing. But see, Jules says we're just talking about Brighton. Oh, got you guys are having a little chit chat. No worries. Do your thing. Do your thing. So yeah, let me know what you think about interims, because it is where we are. Again, it's one of those situations that I don't like. I don't want what be my top choice, but it is where we is. We work with what we have, not with what we want things to be. And that's just how I approach life. So I can sit here and complain about not getting what I want, or I could just make do with what I have and make the best of it. It is what it is. So we got a little bit of transfer news involving a midfielder. No, not a signing, but a potential exit. Now, this is coming from Dutch outlet Voetbal International, which is a very reputable Dutch outlet. And they say Ajax are now the latest team to explore a possible loan move for Manchester United midfielder Manuel Ugarte. How do you guys feel about Ugarte? Some people, based on some of the things I've said in recent weeks, some people seem to think I want to build an entire rebuild around Manuel Ugarte simply because I've praised a couple of his performances in recent matches. It is what it is. I swear, like, you can't say one thing without people like blowing it way out of proportion and taking it out of context. I call Michael Carrick a class midfielder, and a lot of people were going on me for calling him world class. Like, I never said he was world class. Michael Carrick is class. Let's be real there. But as far as Ugarte is concerned, like, yes, he's had some good performances in recent matches. I don't think he was like epic, like not 10 out of 10, but he showed up and he did a job, and he did well in a couple of those matches. He still needs to go, but I worry that, if we let him go this month without a replacement, that we're just in a worse position. A lot of people like to throw out how much money was spent this summer. Yes, there was money spent, but there weren't a lot of players brought in. We were at a net negative when it comes to the squad before and after this summer window. And I think people are forgetting that. It's not like we brought in a lot of players. We just spent a lot of money, unfortunately. Tobias has never heard of that outlet. Whenever I see outlets I'm not familiar with, I always got to make sure I research them to see how reliable they are. This one is very reliable in Dutch. They're very good, reliable from what I've read. So we're going to go with it. Again, not saying it's 100%, just saying it's out there. The news source, the source is reliable. We're going to talk about it. So Jules thinks Ugarte is a useful squad player. I do think we could do better than Ugarte, even if it is from a squad player perspective. I do think we can improve on him for not much money, personally. I think if you go get, for instance, like a Ruben Neves and like a James Garner to replace Casemiro and Ugarte, I think those are two instant upgrades. Personally, I even think Hayden Hackney is an upgrade on Ugarte. But I'm a little biased. Permanent Hayden Hackney watch anybody? Lawrence Burry, welcome back, man. Says, I always sympathize with Ugarte, but he wants the World Cup. They're lining Manu up for makeshift midfield is my feeling. Penny pinching again. Well, it was a lot of people are not happy with Ugarte because they've seen how well McTominay's been doing. I think that's the people who think that need to go ahead and look at the way that Napoli play compared to the role that McTominay was asked to play under Ten Hag. I did a whole video on it a few months back. You guys can go watch it if you want to. Not as simple as United are the problem or McTominay is world class. Like, it's not. I'm happy for the kid. He's doing very, very well, but very different systems. Unfortunately, I'm going to put this minimized here. Jules says, you saw how lightweight the academy players are compared to Ugarte. We need him for this season. Sign better. Yeah, no. If we replace him with someone, cool. But there's no point in a like for like in quality. There needs to be someone better. We need to keep raising the floor of the squad. We're not at a place yet in this rebuild where we can go ahead and get the Cantonas or the Pogbas or someone like that profile. You know what I'm saying? We have to make sure that we've got a good floor, a foundation, and to raise that quality up, or else we're just going to be struggling every time there's an injury or anything. When Bruno went down, like injured, we struggled a little bit, and we need to do better at that. We need to, like, it would be helpful if we were in multiple competitions because then rotation wouldn't be as big of an issue. But we might be in one competition by the end of this weekend, so we'll see how it goes, dude. Back to Casemiro has had the biggest drop ever since his first season. He's just average. Yeah, I mean, he started the season very well. That last international break might have just been one too many miles for a guy who was already running on fumes. He came out of the summer window like looking fit, looking healthy, looking great. He's had some good performances, but since that break, it's been rough. Big up, Darko. Good to see you again, my friend. So, yeah, let me know what you do with Ugarte. We can't afford to let anybody leave right now without replacements, in my opinion, even someone who I think should be sold like Ugarte, but I'm not the majority. It's just because it's my channel doesn't mean I'm always right. Definitely doesn't mean I always think I'm right. I want to know what you guys think. Speaking of midfielders, I read that Sekou Kone has been training recently with Lausanne Sports. I don't know if you guys saw that. He recently played for them in a friendly as well. Now, this is more like a trial kind of a thing. It's not a loan necessarily yet. This is a trial allegedly to see if a loan would be a best fit for him right now. There's a chance he could go there on loan. If it were up to me, I want him to maybe go to a little bit more of a tougher league from a physical standpoint. He is going to be 20 next month, like soon. I think he's ready for something. Maybe send him to Nice. Maybe even see if there's a League 1, League 2 side out there that can do. I think he needs to get used to the physicality of the league. And I think that League 1, League 2 could be a good way to do that. Let him go play in the mud. Let him go play with guys who are also like coming straight from work in their mid-30s or something, who don't give an absolute Frenchman's fuck about just mullering a like 20-year-old. Like, let him go see how he can hang with that. If you send him to Lausanne, I want him to get minutes either way. I think he's like pretty good, but I want to know what you guys think here. Big up, Rich is in the house. Welcome, Rich. Hope you're doing well, man. Hope everybody's doing well. Let me know how you're doing on a Friday. Anybody got weekend plans? I'm gonna go get some lunch with the wife after this because it's date night. It's date day. Like, when you're busy, I know a lot of people think date night has to be night, and then the problem with that is that if it's not always night, if it doesn't, like, people just don't do anything. Sometimes it's got to be date breakfast. Sometimes it's got to be date walk. Sometimes it's date lunch. Whatever you guys can do to make sure you're maximizing the time together, take advantage of it, because you will see the fruit of that if you make an effort to do that. Sorry, went on a little bit of a rant there. So Darko says, can we play without Casemiro and Ugarte in midfield? I don't see others able to do the job. We're going to see. I do think we might see some rotation. I haven't even started on the match yet. We've just been talking about the news here. So we're going to see what might happen, because there could be some shakeups coming up. I do think we'll see some rotation, though. But Bexy says, once we have Shesko, Cunha, Bruno, and Bumo in the attack, we should get a lot more goals. Well, this fixture the last time out in the league was where I think for the first time we saw all of them start together, and we won 4-2. So who knows? Who knows? Jules says Casemiro has looked heavy-legged. Yeah, he's been off, man. It's gonna happen, dude. I didn't really get a chance to exercise when I went to England. I did some light stuff in the Airbnb, but came back. I was sick for a couple days, and then I started. I probably shouldn't have started as heavy as I did, but like I started with some heavy squats and lunges, and I'm feeling it. Is when you get to be a certain age, the rust builds up quicker. It takes longer to shake it all off, and you start you start to feel it. Like today, I would have gone and played because it's nice out today, but I just can't. My legs are sore AF, man. It's rough. You guys are funny. So, lots of people. I wanted your thoughts on this before we dive into the match as well. Lots of people talking about the whole Kyle Walker Dorgu situation. What are your guys' thoughts on that? We spoke about it in the Kickabout show with Dylan on Wednesday. Good show, fun show. We talked a lot about our Manchester trip, shared a lot of photos, so you guys go check out that if you haven't yet. Did get the link up with Stu from Tactical Devils when we were over there, so big up Stu. Absolute top guy, man. Excellent class gentleman. Stupendous, I call him now. Kyle Walker, Patrick Dorgu, the stamp gate. What do you guys feel about that? I feel like right now I'm the only one who is honestly not that fussed about it. Darren Fletcher had thoughts on it in his pre-match press conference. He thought, VAR should have looked at it. And he seemed to think that, Kyle Walker didn't have a problem feigning injury when he got our goal chalked off in the corner, but he should maybe, he defended Dorgu for not making a meal of it. I would have been upset with Dorgu if he made a meal of it. I get you want to maybe capitalize on those moments. We could have very easily got Kyle Walker sent off. I'm giving Kyle Walker the benefit of a doubt. It didn't look like a hard, deliberate try to hurt somebody's stamp. It looked like, honestly, he was tripping. His leg had to go down someplace as they both went out of touch and are into touch. And it looked like he just happened to stamp on his leg. He was very apologetic immediately. He made I'm going to give him the benefit of that. I've seen worse, but you guys let me know what you guys think. Big up, Jarvis. Good to see you again. Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well. I hope you guys are having a good day. What's everybody up to this on a Friday? Bexley says, "Do you think Lacey starts?" Well, we're going to talk about that. I want to get your predictions a little later on because I like Lacey a lot. The dude, that crossbar is still rattling over at Turfmore, dude. Tabasi says Walker is a cheat. Well, I want to know, do you guys think Kyle Walker should have been sent off? Do you think that it was deliberate? Do you think that if Dorgu made a meal of it, it would have been a little bit of a gamesmanship? Like I said, I'm not too fussed about it. I didn't think it was nearly as ridiculous as what Kyle Walker did in the box in the corner. But, I'm not you guys. You guys let me know. Let's talk about the match, you guys. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, please, if you guys are new. Love to see the channel growing. It makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside every time I wrap up a live stream and I see some more subscribers. So make sure to share it too, wherever you guys are. Rich's daughter's birthday. Interesting. Well, happy birthday to your daughter, man. How old is she? Let us know. I love kids. I don't have any because I don't want to take care of them. I have no problem being the uncle. I just don't want kids myself, personally. I've got 2 dogs. That's fine for me. But big up. Happy birthday, Rich's daughter. Jules says, "There's no way you didn't mean it. VAR should have reviewed it at the time. It's a simple red card offense. I'm not interested in post-match reviews." Like I said, I feel like sometimes the only one, like in this instance, the only one who was like not that bothered about personally. I've seen worse personally. I didn't think it was. I would have been mad if it was the other way around and we got sent off. I'm like, come on. Let's be real here. But all right, like I said, Brighton. If you recall, we did beat this Brighton side 4-2 out with all 3 of our new, last time with all 3 of our new attackers starting. They were all involved in the goals in that match as well. So everybody getting involved. Last time out, it was 2 goals for Mbumo, 1 for Cunha, and Shesko got an assist as well. You guys remember that goal for Mbumo, that beautiful, beautiful, beautiful little dummy from Bruno. Like, that's world-class midfield play right there. Those were the days, right? Whew, take me back, right? Brighton are pretty mid right now. 11th place in the league, but just a few points below us. Obviously, that's the league, though. This is the FA Cup. Anything can happen. All bets are off in the FA Cup. They did just manage a 1-1 draw with City, but honestly, Brighton are not in great form right now. 1 win in their last 5, 1 win in their last 8, in fact. They're about as mid as it gets these days. Literally 10th for goals and goals conceded per 90. 7th for XG and for shots on target per 90. 10th right now for accurate long balls and crosses, so they're not great. What they are good at is winning pens. They're second right now for penalties awarded. They've got 5 pens. So we need to be mindful of some of that gamesmanship in the box, and we need to be mindful of the runs as well, because they're getting a lot of pens. But they also have the most yellow cards in the league this season too. So maybe there's a chance we can exploit that. Maybe there's a chance we can get somebody sent off by just if we have a pacey winger who's up against a fullback and we get them on an early yellow, get the ball to that winger time and time again, and let him have a go at him, because we can take advantage of that. Big up Jay's the Int. That was very difficult for me to say. I'm sorry. Happy New Year, but welcome to the channel. Good to see a new face. Tobias says Brighton game sounds tough, but we are Man United. We will batter them hard. Yeah, we said that about Grimsby, and we all tried to forget about that. Sorry, I brought it back up. Jarvis says Villa is trying for Conor Gallagher. Interesting. It sounds like they're really pushing hard for Unai Emery to get a top 4. That is a difference between ambition and where we are. Plan, no plan. Competence, incompetence. As you can see, fully on the Ineos out train, not because I think they're criminals like the Glazers, but because I think they're absolutely incompetent. They don't know what they're doing, and we can't have that running the club. We just can't. The amorim thing, I said when we sacked Ten Hag and Ashworth, if they do it again, that might be it. They did it again. It's it. It's like Glazers are a different animal. Ineos, absolutely incompetent. They have no clue what they're doing personally. But yeah, they're pushing hard to get a midfielder. I know a lot of people don't rate Conor Gallagher, but that shows what they're trying to do. And that can be the difference between them qualifying for Champions League and not. Maybe even pushing Arsenal. Maybe Arsenal could hear footsteps and fall apart like they always do. But Jules agrees he's not happy about the Walker incident. I dislike when fans use things like that as a reason for not winning a match. Yeah, I mean, VAR could have looked. They probably did look at it. They look at everything. People like to think they don't look at. They look at every single thing. They do. Just because we don't see a constant VAR review and the play is stopped doesn't mean they're not looking at it. They look at everything. Not everything is required for the ref to go and look at, though. So it just is what it is. She's 12. She does support United, and I haven't even had to brainwash. Well, you know what? That's how you know a good parent, man. Well done. Well done. But happy birthday, Ridge's daughter. So 4-2-3-1 on paper, they do kind of build out in a 4-1 shape, or even maybe in like a front 5. They like to kind of push up high. Kind of like when they were under De Zerbi, they do like to bait the opposition into a press by building out from the back, Brighton, before they look to really kind of push that ball into midfield. They want to play over or around that initial press. So they're either going to play it long or they're going to play it straight into midfield, find the midfielder so they can get it up. Most of the passes I saw on their match against City were coming from Lewis Dunk to midfielders. Like, it was all going through Lewis Dunk. And that's basically the way Brighton played. Their center backs will be the orchestrators. It all starts with the center backs. You can press them, but you have to press with coordination. You have to press in numbers. It can't just be Bruno running and then waving his arms. Like, everyone's got to know how to press, or you just don't press. Watch out for the long balls, though. They do like to, again, find those combinations between the lines. They want to create the transition moments. They don't want to wait for them to always just unfold. They want to create them by that bait. They are good from getting into good shot creating actions from take-ons. What that means is they trust their wide players to beat the opposition defenders and then lead to a shot. They're very good at that. So again, once they bait that press and move that ball in the final third, they have the players that are willing to take on their man. They back themselves in those 1v1 situations. And again, the numbers show that they're good at it. So we need to be mindful. Whoever plays fullback needs to be switched on, put pressure on the ball, and make sure they don't get easy chances. But we've seen that time and time. Dowler was absolutely atrocious against Burnley. We can't have that. Again, they will start with a 4-1 base. The wingers are going to stay high and wide. They're going to pin the defensive line back. Again, they're going to kind of get in our heads a little bit. That's what they look to do. Look for a lot of players in midfield. Again, they want to push that ball through the midfield, get it wide, and get it back into the box. The strikers are often going to drop deep to help get involved as well. So again, they want to take advantage of the space when they're building out from the back. Where Brighton can hurt you as well is they also have a very high PPDA. You guys remember that? It's the presses per defensive action. So basically, like golf, you want that low. What that means is that the opposition doesn't get a lot of touches before Brighton will press the ball, and they do win a ball a lot in the opposition third. They have the 4th highest PPDA in the league, so they will press us high. We have to move the ball quickly if we shit ourselves like we did against Burnley, we could be in some trouble. So I know Aiden Heaven is comfortable on the ball. I know Leach is comfortable on the ball. That's all well and good, but if you don't have players to read the situation and come and help you out, it doesn't mean a difference. So again, they want to win that ball back high up the pitch. They want to. They have the fourth highest PPDA in the league, so keep an eye on that. The issue is they're also not super threatening. They didn't against City. They didn't have a lot of shots on target. They didn't even have a single shot on target till like the 60th minute against City, and so they're going to take advantage of the opportunities they have, and we tend to concede with the few opportunities we give the opposition. So we need something to click here. Evans, help us out in defense, man. Let me see what you guys are at here. Darko says, aren't the owners unfortunate to get unsuitable people to run the club? The good intentions of Abramovich were matched by the smart running of Chelsea by Peter Kenyon. I mean, I'm not a fan. I mean, there are a lot of people who are going to say, look at Chelsea and stuff. Like, I'm not a fan of the constant kind of sacking kind of thing. I just don't like it personally. I mean, maybe we're just spoiled like that because we had Fergie for so long, but we've kind of become the sacking thing, and we have won. I mean, we have more trophies in our worst time than Arsenal have. I mean, it is what it is, but I just don't like it personally. I don't have a problem with finding the right guy, but again, when you start to continually get the wrong guy, and every couple of years you're making sacking decisions, then again, the owners start to look incompetent. But if you're not good enough, if you don't know what you're doing as an owner, either get people in who know what they're doing or don't run the football club. And Ineos seem to be doing both things poorly because Barada and Wilcox, I mean, the crosshairs are pointed right at them right now, man. So Shanta, welcome back. Says, great to see your viewers increase. Your stream is better than most other better known streamers who are just self-absorbed, only want to talk about themselves. Well, I appreciate that very much. I'm glad that something, things I say are kind of hitting home. Again, just my opinion, the way I see things. I just because I have the camera and the channel doesn't mean I think I'm right all the time. I love when more people get involved in the chat because I think that if you only look at things in life from one angle, that's all you're going to see it from. I welcome other perspectives. Feel free to disagree, but what's the rule I say when you guys have the opinions? Tell me why you feel that way. That's all I ask. It's not because I want to call you out. It's because I want to know why you feel that way. Maybe something you say can change my mind about something. Who knows? But but I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Guys, make sure you like and subscribing if you haven't yet done so. Let's get that community growing. We are on the road to 3K. Would love to get there before the end of the January transfer window. We're not that far away, so just any little bit helps. So I appreciate that. As far as danger men, we need to look out for Welbeck. I feel like I'm so tired of saying. We've been saying that since he left the club. Welbeck. He's their top scorer. He's got 8 goals. He absolutely loves a goal against us. I think every time he's played us since he's left, he's scored against us. It's so annoying. But again, it is their center backs, Van Hecke and Lewis Dunk, that dictate the tempo. They build out from the back. They launch the attack. Long balls, finding the midfield. Van Hecke actually leads Brighton when it comes to passes into the final third and long balls, I think. So, again, we can't let him get a ton of time on the ball, but we can't leave the passing lanes open. Coordinated press is going to be the key. This is where Ugarte might be coming in handy. Maybe this is not a game for Casemiro. I don't know. And like I said, against City, everything was going through Lewis Dunk when they were building out from the back. Baleba is at AFCON, so he's out. Minta, I think, is injured. Wiefer is also injured. Solly Marsh is also injured. So they are down a few players. I think that Mitoma was injured till like not that long ago, so maybe. But they've still got players that can hurt you as well. Charlampos is pretty good. Like I said, Danny Welbeck is good as well. So they can hurt you. We have to be careful. Their midfielders are on point as well. Shanta has a question. Maybe you guys can help answer this. Do you think Cunha will be better in this match? I want to see him score again. Cunha, to me, against Burnley, looked like a guy who was frustrated having to play on the right instead of the left. It didn't look like he wanted to do. When he does, he looked like a guy who was just like, I'm not, unless it's coming to me, I'm not. Like a couple times in the last couple weeks, I've been frustrated with Cunha, just not really busting a gut to help out off the ball. He does a lot on the ball, probably a little too much sometimes. I think he needs to pass the ball a little bit more. His finishing probably could improve as well. I think he's a good player. Obviously, he scored recently as well. I'm not going to be that fussed about it, but he can be doing a little bit more, and he's going to have to be a little more selfless, even when he's asked to play out of position, because we all got on Anthony's case when he was asked to play wingback, and we have to have that same energy. But Cunha can do more. He can do more for sure. Jules said Welbeck is 100%. So yeah, it's worth a cheeky tenner, Jules, just to throw it on there. If you guys bet the apps, you'll get some money. um, but we'll see what happens. Maybe he won't. Who knows? As far as United go, again, in Darren Fletcher's first match as interim, really. Yep, that's where we are. We did line up in a 4-2-3-1. Wasn't all smooth sailing. That first half was garbage. The players looked caught between two minds, who to mark, when to run, where to move, etc. And individually, a few of them were just poor. Like Dallo and Casemiro were absolute garbage. Cunha, bad night for Cunha, in my opinion. But again, it was another instance of creating chances, dozens of shots. It was the most shots we had in a match in 10 years, but just the 2 goals to show for it. I mean, and again, it was another instance of some switching off the ball that cost us. We have to do better. It's the same individuals, the same issues that seem to be causing us problems every time, and I'm so tired of it. We can say maybe it was a one-off, but again, it's not like we haven't seen that same shit from these same players over and over again. It's super frustrating. Like I said, Brighton are going to throw numbers forward. They are going to go man-to-man to win possession high up the pitch. We need to move that ball quickly from defense, take advantage of the space that those. Whenever you push numbers forward, you are going to leave space in behind. You are going to leave 1v1s in behind. We need to take advantage of that because they're not going to have the man advantage if they're pushing so many players forward. They're going to leave 1v1s at the back. Quicker build-up. Look for the opportunities to go long. I don't like how long we take on goal kicks if we're just going to launch it. If you're going to launch it, do it quickly after you grab the ball off a set piece or something because we just wait too long. Harry Maguire, maybe he's ready to start. He might be a better option to start over Heaven. I think his long balls are better. We could take advantage of that as well. I like Leach's long balls. I do think Harry Maguire has a little bit more power in them, though. This is how we lined up against Burnley last time out in a 4-2-3-1. So I have Maguire on there still. It seems like Fletcher learned that Cunha needed to be on the left. He switched sides later on, so we pushed them over to the left, which is fine. But what about the rest of it? What would your starting 11 be for this one? This is how I would go to start this one. I have Maguire and Heaven in there because I haven't decided yet who I might think to go there. I do like Maguire for the height and for the distribution, but this is how, based on who we have fit and maybe a little bit of rotation, this is how I would go. There's just not many options for fullback right now. I do like Dorgu on the right-hand side when he's playing in attack. I do think he does well. Obviously, the goal against Newcastle, Premier League Player of the Week, that one, I was there for that one. It was awesome. Cunha, obviously better on the left as well. I think we will probably want Ugarte, his muscle, his legs, his willingness to fight. I do think that Kobe would probably maybe be a better option than Casemiro. Casemiro just did not do well. But what do you guys think? Would you go strong? Would you rotate? I can see Manu starting, but again, does he come in for Ugarte? Does he come from Casemiro? Does he play a little higher up the pitch? Should we rest anybody? Would you guys maybe rest Shaw? Heaven's been playing a lot of minutes. Maybe that's why Maguire could get some minutes. Would you guys start Shea Lacey? JJ Gabriel is technically eligible for this one. Would you guys start JJ Gabriel? Let me see you guys getting in the chat here. Let's see. Rich says, if we don't win, we'll have people saying, but we won with Amorim in charge. Yeah. There's always going to be those people, Rich. We know that. It's nothing new under the sun these days, man. Tabasi thinks that Cunha on the right. Yeah, Cunha on the right. I don't think he liked playing there personally, but that's why I put him on the left. Fletcher changed it over later on in the game, so we'll see. Tabasi is our left back and right back. Shaw didn't do bad if you deep the numbers. Dallo is one of those players who definitely looked like he didn't know what to do. We saw when he was playing wingback, he was constantly just sitting high up the pitch, too high oftentimes. I think against Bournemouth, for instance, it was causing us problems, but it's too flat-footed. He doesn't put enough pressure on the ball, man. He's just not bad. Adrian's back. Welcome. If Ugarte didn't do bad against Burnley. Yeah, I don't think Ugarte's been bad at all. Like I've said, I've praised him in recent weeks. Some people think that means I want to build a whole team around him. I don't, but you got to give credit where it's due, and I think Ugarte's been just fine. But I do think he was better than Casemiro for damn sure. I don't think Mizraoui or Mbeumo are going to be back this weekend. Fletcher said now it's too quick of a turnaround, so we're probably not going to see them for this one. But this is probably what I'm going with the 11. Just there's a slight bit of rotation, and I've obviously swapped Cunha and Dorgu from where we started them recently, personally. So But you guys let me know what your 11 looks like for this one. Again, it is a cup tie. Should we start Shea Lacey? Is he enough? Do you maybe want to bring him on later on against tired legs in defense? That's usually where I go. I always want to go strong, but I'm not you guys, so let me know. Jules says any manager will struggle taking the job to the end of the season. We've got we've had a Frankenstein of a squad for a decade. It's just the way it's been. It's been impossible to move players on. We don't give managers enough time. Oftentimes, doesn't mean that they're all the right guy. I just think it's hard to know super quickly. But um, yeah, I mean that's one of the things I've defended Ollie with the kind of players he had at the time. What he did with a lot of those guys was very good. I mean, but it is what it is. But yeah, managers are going to struggle until they get their players for their system. It is a big part of why Amorim is no longer here. He did not, allegedly, depending on the journalist you want to listen to, did not see eye to eye when it came to the lack of ambition and initiative and hustle from us in the transfer market. But let me know your 11. I want to know your scores too. What is your score prediction for this one? So I put a poll in the chat. 57 votes. 84% of you think it's going to be United win. 16% say Brighton will win. So we got a couple Brighton fans in here. I think personally, Šeško's confidence will have gotten a boost after that brace against Burnley. Bruno is going to be one match fitter since returning from injury. Mount is back now as well to help us out. So we have the personnel capable of beating Brighton. We've seen it. We've done it. But will that same personnel get it done? If we make the same mistakes we saw against Burnley, I can see this getting out of hand quickly. But honestly, if I had to say right now, based on who's fit and everything, I'm going to go 3-2 United with a goal from Welbeck, of course. I mean, a goal from Welbeck against United is about as dead cert as you get in life. You know, again, throw a cheeky tenner at it, man. Tobias is going 4-3 United. He calls for another high-scoring game. I'm going 3-2 United. I think we're just going to edge this out. I don't think it's going to be easy. I think we're going to make some mistakes. We'll probably concede first, if I'm honest, but we have the players to do it. The players we have looked good. I really hope Šeško, that was like the turning of a corner for him, because we really need him doing that. I'm not trying to put too much on his shoulder. He's just 22, but at the same time, like, what I saw, the difference between his body language and his confidence just in that Burnley match alone, like, he needs to keep riding that wave, man. Jules would bring on Lacey at halftime. Yeah, man. I would have brought Lacey on for Dorgu against Leeds. Late on in that match, Dorgu was looking a little uncertain. He was getting double marked, so it is what it is. But I thought Lacey could have done a lot. I think Lacey's rapid. He's got a rocket of a left foot, dude. Like, again, the crossbar at Turmoor is still shaking, dude. Shanta's going 3-1 United, so everybody's pretty much going for a United win. I like that. Get your thoughts and get your score predictions. Get your starting 11s you haven't yet. Lose this, and the season will be equally as short as it feels long, right? It's just funny how that works. A loss would be another domestic cup that we've crashed out of the first time of asking this season. Literally, we'll have 40 games this season if that's the case. If we crash out of this one, we've got just the league and the 2 first-round domestic cup matches that we've been in. That's unacceptable. Remember when we were playing like 60 matches in a season or more? Like, losing this would be unacceptable. After this, it's just a small matter of back-to-back games against City and Arsenal to deal with as well. So awesome. City can't seem to score more than 1 goal these days. Arsenal are just about at that fragile stage of the season where they start to hear footsteps. So maybe we can contribute to that. Who knows? But cross that bridge when we get to it. But I want to know your score predictions. Devasi says, Šeško, we will win our defense. Hold our beer, basically. Yeah, Licha got absolutely done by Jade. I told you guys in the preview of Burnley, watch out for Jaden Anthony when he comes on, man. He's got it. He's got it for sure. So, well, let me know your thoughts on that. Let me know your thoughts on all of the transfer news, the manager news. Go vote in the manager poll. Go vote in the polls that are on the post page for the channel. I want to know your thoughts on the profile manager, who we've missed most from AFCON. There's a poll in there. And then, don't leave yet. There's a post. Go get your thoughts for football agents. I want to know if you have any questions, any myths, anything that you'd like to ask a football agent. Go post it in the comments for that, because we could feature it in a video. And I'm not going to be the one answering those questions if that gives you any hint of what to expect. So go get involved if there's anything. I've been putting together some notes for that, but just think about what I've said I've been doing for the last year, and that should give you a hint for the fact that I'm not going to be the one answering those questions. So go get involved in that. You guys could have a question featured when we do that show. But until next time, you guys, please make sure you like and please make sure you subscribe. And I do love to see the subscription number go up. It does make me feel all warm and fuzzy. We are on the road to 3K. Consider looking at the memberships. It's the best way to get involved in the content. And again, the conversation doesn't have to end just because the stream does. We do have a WhatsApp group for Starting 11 and Legends members. There's a link to that in the community post as well. Check out the United vs. Everybody store, one-of-a-kind gear in there. You can see a couple of examples below the video player. The one-of-a-kind gear doesn't go to the Glazers, doesn't go to Ineos. It doesn't cost a lot. It does help the channel as well. I don't make a lot. It's like I make like $1 to $2. So the posse wants to know, is that AI? You got to be patient. You will find out. It's not going to be live. It can't do it live, but it'll be fun. So get your thoughts in, and I guarantee it'll be worth your while. So until then, you guys enjoy the rest of your Friday. I will have a scouting report for you guys tomorrow. Another half a dozen players, up and coming stars, hidden gems, future ballers for you guys to check out and add to your list. Anyone who plays FC26, Shea Lacey, Bendito Montato, and Fletcher have all been recently added as well. So if you're starting a career mode with United, you've got some youngsters to work with. But enjoy the rest of your day, guys. Hopefully next time I see you, we'll be talking about scouting reports, and then hopefully we'll be talking about who we get in the next round of the FA Cup next time. But thank you guys for getting involved. Love to see the new faces. Love to see all the familiar faces as well. And take it easy. Enjoy your day.